Alright guys, today I wanted to make a video on the rumour of Richarlison to Tottenham. So I'll just get straight into the report. Tottenham want to sign Brazil forward Richarlison, aged 25, and English winger Anthony Gordon, aged 21, from Everton in a double deal. Chelsea are also interested in Richarlison. So that is being reported by Sky Sports. And then Liverpool Echo have added, but Everton are not interested in selling Gordon, whose contract with the Goodison Park club runs until 2025, as part of any transfer involving Richarlison. So to me, that suggests that Anthony Gordon's not going anywhere, even if Spurs are interested in him, because Everton really aren't going to want to lose. Certainly, their two best attacking players from last season, and two of the main reasons they actually stayed in the Premier League last season, I think, alongside Jordan Pickford. Um, yeah, Chelsea being interested as well. That's also interesting in itself. But I think the move to Tottenham certainly makes more sense for Richarlison, because Tottenham are a side that are going into Europe again in Champions League specifically. Obviously, they were in the Conference League last season, but they paid no interest in that whatsoever. Um, but so yeah, in the Champions League, they're going to need more options going forward. Currently, they have Kane, Son, Kulusevski, Mora, and Steven Bergwijn, although it looks like he could potentially be on his way out of the club after Conte has sort of made it clear that he doesn't really fancy him. So yeah, Richarlison would be the sort of player that Spurs need. However, I do have a couple of problems with Spurs going for him, because I just think Richarlison, he's clearly a good player. I don't know if he is Champions League level, personally. I'm not sure. And also the other thing is his discipline. He seems to have moments of like madness in him where um, he does things like throw flares into the crowd, start fights with players on the opposition team, and can be very very hot headed, and is definitely no stranger to a red card, which is something he will have to, remove from his game if he does want to make it at the very top. Um, yeah, and also there is to take into account that Everton are a club who have been financially stiffed by themselves, sort of over the past few years, like in terms of like FFP, they're sort of stuck in the mud a little bit, because they have spent far too much money on bang average players who they've got very little return for. So I've gone through this before, but like players like Alex Iwobi for 40 million, Michael Keane for 30 million, Jean-Philippe Gbamin, who I don't even think has played 10 games for Everton, for about 25 million as well. Richarlison, Sigurdsson cost about 90 million combined. So yeah, so many signings that have just not been good enough. Yannick Bolasie for 30 million. I can think of absolutely loads. The list just completely goes on, and yet they haven't really brought in much money over the past few years. The only example I can really think of is Romelu Lukaku for, I think it was 90 million from Man United. That's literally what's kept them afloat a little bit. So yeah, they do need money. Now, would Richarlison actually fit in at Tottenham in terms of how they play? I think he potentially could, because he's a player who just he doesn't have any particular position in Everton's team. Like, he is quite versatile along the front line. We've seen him play as a number 9 this season. We've seen him play from the left. So that's would be good for Spurs, because without Harry Kane, they don't really have a number 9. So if Richarlison could fill in that position when Kane's not playing, that would be good for them. And as well, another winger definitely won't do Spurs any harm, as they do only really have Son, Kulusevski and Lucas Moura, if rumours about Steven Bergwijn leaving are to be believed. So yeah, I would give this rumour a 6 out of 10, because I do also think there are better options Spurs could go for. Like, if Arsenal are about to sign Gabriel Jesus for what's rumoured to be 45 million, and Richarlison is supposedly worth 60 million, is what Everton apparently want for him, because they want to make a profit on what they paid for him from Watford. Was it 4 years ago now, I think? Which I don't think he's a 60 million player, Richarlison. I think more 40 million mark. I think if I was Spurs, I'd probably just offer 5 million more than what Arsenal are offering City for Jesus, because I think Jesus is the better option. Although I'm not putting a lot of evidence forward for why Richarlison is a good player here. There is like the fact that he has scored between 10 to 15 goals for Everton in every season he's been at the club, which, I mean, is a good return. It's not something that's like completely out of this world. It's like he's like maybe a 1 in 3 goal scorer, so scores 1 in every 3 games. And also, to be fair to Richarlison, I think he is a sort of player that Conte would quite like, because he does work for the team. That's one thing I have noticed. And also, he is a player who doesn't hide in the big games, as he showed for Everton at the back of the end of last season, like scoring in some really important games for them. Like, I remember he scored against Burnley, and he scored in multiple games against Brentford. And yeah, so he does do it in the big games for them. However, then Everton have got a problem of that he probably will need replacing, because do Everton really want to go into next season relying on Damari Gray and Andros Townsend, who had really good starts to last season under Rafa Benitez, but since Frank Lampard's come in, neither of them have really been used like as anything other than an impact sub. Calvert-Lewin has shown once again this season that his fitness is unreliable. He spent nearly the entirety of last season injured. Although when he does play, he does get goals. He showed that under Ancelotti, not last year but the year before. And of course, Anthony Gordon, who is, their bright young star who looked really good last season. But I still feel if you take Richarlison away from that team, they do need to bring someone in, which is a problem for them. But then again, if they can bring someone in for 10 million and get rid of Richarlison for 60 million, that isn't a bad move. That's 50 million profit, and will certainly help with the financial fair play problems that they have got. Yeah, with regards to Chelsea being interested in him, I don't know, that doesn't fit as well, I don't think, as Tottenham going for him. I think he would be a better fit for Tottenham, but I also think there are better options for Tottenham. So that's why I'll give it a 6 out of 10. There are things that Richarlison would need to improve in his game, and also maybe his attitude as well, for him to be a success at Tottenham. That's my thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.